Welcome back, Lelanders. Today we're going to be talking about the Toronto Raptors, my favorite basketball team. I heard the amateur hour reaction that the Raptors changes and what they're going to be doing for the next season. And I thought I agreed with some of it, but had quite a few disagreements as well. So I figured, hey, why don't I make a video about it, see what the fans think. Now, I'm a bit of a Heyoka by heart, so I tend to think the opposite of what everyone else does. But I'm also a longtime Toronto Raptors fan. Been watching for over 20 years, so... Anyways, not that just watching a long time means that you know everything about it, so let's break it down and we'll see what the viewers think. Alright, so here's a list of the players and pretty much the orders that I think they should start if I was the coach. And this year the new coach is, who is it, Darko. So to me, not to make fun of it or anything, going with the Eastern European coach doesn't sound like a great idea to me. Part of my family is from Eastern Europe, so I know it's a little bit strict when it comes to encouragement style, so I don't know if it's a good fit for the NBA. I'm thinking it's a dangerous experiment to try, but heck, the Toronto Raptors have tried stranger things and won, so we'll see what happens, right? There's one thing about a strict Eastern European style. Sometimes it does end up refining someone to be better, but in other cases it just seems very abusive. Should make fun of it. Alright, so... No, there is one player on the team now who is a Dennis Schroeder. Apparently he's used to the European style of behavior and coaching, so maybe that'll work out. Who knows, maybe it helped turn him into a better player, having a strict coach, so that could be the case, right? Oh, and that was one thing I heard debated on a lot of shows recently, is if Dennis Schroeder is going to be the starting point guard for the Raptors. And I think that's a guarantee. I find it weird that people are comparing Dennis to Fred VanVleet and thinking that Fred was better. I get it that Fred's paid more, but to be fair, I think in all of his accomplishments, as personal accomplishments, I get it, the Raptors won a title and Fred got one of the MVP votes, but Fred also spent a good chunk of that playoff on the bench because he wasn't really usable in most of the games in the playoffs, especially against Philly. And he has a bad injury prone. I think, not to knock Fred the whole episode, I think he's one of the best backup point guards in the NBA. Do I think he's a good starting point guard is where I get a bit skeptical. Because I think just for Fred's sake, he can play at a higher level coming off the bench for longer. Sort of like how Kyle Lowry sort of rejuvenated his career in Miami. Coming off the bench and playing amazing for the time he's out there. Short periods. So, anyways, I think it's a done deal. And in the interview where Dennis Schroeder first introduced himself to the media, we saw him say that the reason he came to Toronto is he was offered not only at the starting point guard position, but also to be the new leader of the team. Because apparently Fred was the main leader before, so we're looking for a new leader. And I think Dennis Schroeder, when I've watched him in the NBA over the years, I think he's one of the best point guards I've ever seen. Sure, he's had some bad luck in seasons and whatnot, but I think overall, every time the Raptors played against him, he usually played amazing. So, and he's had good luck playing for Team Germany, I heard. I didn't watch that game, to be fair. So I think it's a lock that Dennis is going to be the starting point guard. And I know, Amateur Hour Sports, or Reactions, was saying he doesn't think that Scotty's going to be the shooting guard. And I think that's weird, right? For me, I think that the only shooting guard competition we have on the team is between Gary Trent and Scotty. And what I think is probably going to happen is this is going to be the starting five, and Gary Trent's going to be the quick trigger for Scotty. If Scotty misses a few shots or if he gets too many early fouls, then he'll come off the bench and go for the Sixth Man of the Year award. Because I think Gary Trent is probably one of the best six mans that you could have on a team. He has that killer instinct shot to finish quarters, clutch moments in games, put him in the end in the fourth quarter for sure. Maybe with Scotty. Who knows? But yeah, that's what I was thinking. The shooting guard battle, like I've got a big list I should show people. The point guard, shooting forward, power forward, center, and do not play is also who I think the Raptors 905 team should be, right? I can't remember how many of the players they can send down to the 905, but if I was them, I would send those 5. Now, not to make fun of, who is it, Grady Dick, but I watched him in the preseason or summer league, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's just summer league, but man, he couldn't even hit the rim for almost half of his shots, so that was a little terrifying. I really don't think he's ready for the NBA yet, but who knows, maybe the hard European coaching style can turn him around. If we had to sub him in, I think where would we have to put him in competition with? Wouldn't that be his one role? Or could he go with the shooting forward? He's got the height for it, right? And what I was thinking too is if you look at this list of players, you got to remember that this starting 5 is only going to last maybe 10 games before someone gets injured and you're going to have to swap someone in to take their place. I don't even think it's really that dramatic of a starting 5. The only difference I see people saying is that Jakob Poeltl is going to be the starter. And personally, I'd like Poeltl and all, but I think he's a great backup center. Same thing with him and Fred VanVleet. They're trying to make him be the number 1 center on a team when he's really a dominant backup center. And can Christian Koloko actually carry the load and be the team's main center? That's a big if. So I think him and Precious Achiuwa will probably swap back and forth a few games. And then Jakob will be the main backup center. So he doesn't really get swapped out at all. But then here you have the problem too with injuries. Whoever it is that gets injured, it's probably going to, not to make fun of it, but the guy's carrying the heavy load in the front of the team. So we're going to see all these change position. I bet you even Thaddeus Young could play center backup, say if one of these guys gets injured. So that's what I was thinking is probably going to happen, is Christian Koloko will remain at the start, or starting center, and he'll stay until he gets injured or plays horrible. And then if he gets injured or plays horrible, Jakob will move right up to take his starting center position. Here we have the question too, we're asking ourselves, who is the backup center? Didn't we have a really good center in the 905 this year? I hope he comes up. I don't even see him on this list of players. Now, this list of players is just ones that I took off the Raptors.com website. If anyone, or NBA website, Raptors, wants to check it out. Alright, so who should we look at next? So that's the debate for shooting guard. I think that's pretty locked. And hopefully Otto Porter can actually even play this position. Because if he can't, can you imagine? Oh, Anunoby wants to carry more of the team. Pretty sure he's like the only shooting forward on the team, right? Or small forward, whatever it's called. It's not really small, eh? Most of these guys are the same height, I think. Alright, so then we get to the power forward position. We got Siakam. That's a lock for the starter. Can't really even debate that one, right? And then some people think Precious Achiuwa has the potential to be like the next great power forward on the team if he doesn't get forced into playing center due to injury. And Chris Boucher also has that potential, depending who you ask. So they're really battling for the backup power forward position. And then the center, yeah, we have who I think my starting center is going to be. Let's move him back up to the front. Now, the do not play team, to be fair to them, if they were all in the N905, I'd be buying tickets. Because my house is one of the last stops on the GO train to get to the exhibition place where across the street where the Raptors play, the 905. And their games are about the only ones I can afford to go watch. So it would be awesome to go see them play. And I would probably get a Grady Dick jersey. Even though I don't think he's ready for the NBA, I still want to cheer for him, hope he does well. It'd be awesome to be able to watch him in the 905. Maybe get his autograph, eh? That'd be sweet. Yeah, and then this guy who is at Marquise Noel, a lot of people think that he's ready to get into this lineup for the point guard. But I think that's really up for these two guys to lose, right? If we start getting injuries, like picture what happens if Schroeder gets injured, then who's our starting point guard? I think it's a pretty good debate between all three, right? Some people think that Scotty's going to be the point guard, but I don't think he's that type of player. I think he's more the hockey assist guy. Where on our team, if we want to succeed, the point guard has to throw the ball to Scotty, and Scotty's going to have to find the open man and just be ready to deliver a bullet pass. So the point guards might not even get a lot of assist. They just all got to throw it through Scotty. I think that's going to be an interesting way to move the ball this year. And I did watch the Summer League, so I seen Marquise Noel has good games and he has bad games. So I don't think he's consistent enough for the NBA quite yet, but he's definitely a nice option to have to come in if there's any injuries, right? I'm actually not to make fun of anything, but I bet you if injuries came and we got Marquise Noel to move up in the team, it would be pretty wild to see what he does with the opportunity. You never know, he could be the next Iverson. If all of a sudden he starts like putting together an amazing season as a little guy. Not to make fun of his height or anything. Now I think seeing a guy that isn't super tall in the team is kind of a nice change. Alright, so then some people think that who is it, Malachi Flynn is ready to be the starting point guard if Schroeder goes down. And his dad probably thinks that because he's been begging it for a while, right? So I think this is the year. If we see Schroeder go down, Malachi Flynn might actually get his chance to be the starting point guard. And then, oh yeah, the player from Chicago, Freeman is his name. I'm not really too familiar with him. I'm pretty sure by the way the fans reacted to him coming to the Raptors, that he's probably one of those diamonds in the rough, ready to break through. So if we got any injuries and all of a sudden we need a new starting point guard, he's probably going to get a chance, right? And Schroeder is one of those aging veteran players, isn't he? How old is he? He's younger than me, that's for sure. We'll see. Dennis Schroeder. Doesn't say his age. Height, weight, the date of birth. 93. Yeah, so he's one of the older players on the team. Thaddeus Young is 88. He's the oldest. Not age, but year. 88. It's not that old. Alright, so I think that's quite an interesting thing what's going to happen with the point guard. I hope Schroeder stays healthy and has like an all-star season. Wouldn't it be funny if we see like a real point guard going to the all-star? Not just a fan vote, but he actually plays amazing. Not to make fun of Fred's all-star appearance, but that one did seem a little weird. But credit to the fans. Fans in Toronto are capable of anything. Can get anyone to the all-star game. There's a lot of us. Alright, so who else do we got? So that's the battle for the point guard. And I don't know, these other guys, I don't really know much about any of them. I've watched a little bit of them, maybe, in the Summer League. Now I wish Gary or Grady Dick had a better performance in the summer league, and some people say, "Oh, don't worry, it's just the summer league." But when the player can't even hit the rim, you have to ask yourself, are they really ready for the NBA? Now and then the Jakob Poeltl thing, some people want him to start so bad, but I don't know. I just think suited-wise, he's really a good backup center. Like, if he comes into the game versus another team's backup center, he's going to dominate because he's almost full center capability. And Thaddeus Young, he is one of my favorite players, but I think in age, right, you got to keep him as a reserve just in case someone gets injured. Give him some minutes at the end of games when it's blown out. No, Chris Boucher, definitely be nice. Like, if we had to like just build, remember in the, what was it, the Sam Mitchell days? Or who was it that built the best bench mob? Maybe that was another coach. Oh, Dwayne Casey. Was he the one who built the bench mob? But anyways, if we had to build a good bench mob team, wouldn't that be epic? Throw out Freeman, Gary Trent, Otto Porter, Precious, Jakob. It's like that bench mob would almost be worthy of starting. You could debate each one of them has a starting potential. I don't know, OG's pretty much locked up the shooting forward, power forward. And I really don't understand how people debate those two. Even with Scotty starting as the shooting guard. Like, I get it, we signed Gary Trent, and he's so generous to actually stay in Toronto, take a fair contract. So it's like, he is one of my new favorite players, and I want to give him the starting, but I don't know, do you think Scotty has 6th man of the year potential? Or does he need more minutes? Or do you just run the 6th man a lot and then take out the other players that aren't holding their own? Like, I hope Otto Porter Jr. is healthy, but really, like, obviously, not to make fun of it, odds are Otto Porter is going to get injured at some point in the season. Like, every player will. Minor bruises, who knows, who will have to come out. So then your bench mob starts to look like that, right? Malachi's dad, he'll want him swapped in there. So Malachi could be the bench mob leader with Scotty, Chris Boucher, Precious Achua, and Jakob. That's our new bench mob. Would that be an epic bench mob? Like, that's what they were saying the problem with last season, is you take these players out, the starters, and then the whole team falls apart because there was no bench mob, really. It's like, take all these starters out of the game, put all these in. I think these 5 can hold their own with a lot of teams in the NBA, maybe even beat them, even the starters. So that's really, I think, what it comes down to this year. Is the Raptors have, like, there's the core players. Who do you really want to start, right? Like, all these players here are pretty expendable for trades and whatnot. Who has to get injured for Grady Dick to get his chance? Say Gary Trent gets injured. Now all of a sudden you have Dick. He finds an opening, and now he's in the lineup because of an injury. Yeah, can you imagine Malachi Flynn? All of a sudden he's left because Schroeder's injured. Now someone needs to get called up to be the new point guard for backup. How is that backup point guard duo, right? Malachi Flynn starting games. Marquise Noel finishing the quarter, or starting the beginning of the second quarter. That's a pretty wild bench mob there. I should have like a chart that says bench mob here, starters here. Not to make fun of any of these players, like Schroeder hopefully will stay healthy. So then you won't really have the maybe a battle between Malachi and him. Marquise, who will get the backup point guard minutes. I bet you what's going to happen, one of them's going to go through a cold streak and the other will get hot, so they'll get swapped. And then injuries or something will happen and then they'll get swapped again and then swapped back throughout the season. Not to make fun of it, but usually what happens is Anunoby, he gets injured a lot too, right? So yeah, now who's your shooting forward backup? Guess you could do Precious. See, hopefully Otto Porter Jr. stays healthy. So yeah, if Anunoby goes down, then maybe you got a battle between Boucher and... Now, it's terrible to make fun of it, right? Like, who's going to get injured, but... We always pray that no one gets injured, right? But it is the NBA. It's a dangerous game, and it's really a battle of endurance. No, some people I think that are right too is that Freeman, since he was so like fans were so upset that he's gone, who knows? Wouldn't it be weird if he got the start by like say halfway through the season? He just has like the career of his life and or season of his life, starts putting up like 30 points a game. Then Schroeder becomes his backup. But it would have to be like a miracle for that to happen, right? You'd have to play his ass off to outplay Schroeder. He's like so good. I can't believe people think that Van Fleet is better. It's like I would trade like 10 Van Fleets for one Dennis Schroeder. I can't believe we got him for a good price too. When I heard that, I was like, holy. Now when I heard that we lost, who was it? Can't forget to say his name. The other player from Toronto that left recently. Viewers want to put his name in the chat. Oh god, I can't believe I forgot his name already. He went to Boston. I'll try to remember by the end. Oh, Delano Banton. That's it. I wanted Banton to start to be our point guard. Because if we would have signed him, then we wouldn't have needed Schroeder, right? Because then we would have had Banton leading the whole show, but I don't know, it does make more sense, right? Go with Dennis Schroeder. He is more like experienced to be the point guard and leader. And he has the skills, proven skills in crunch time too. That was the one thing, as much as I like Fred VanVleet, it was hard to watch him at the end of games. Fourth quarters, he usually collapses every time, right? So you need players in there that can survive the crunch time minutes. You don't want people that are going to collapse and have the whole team fall apart right in the last few minutes. That's the problem with Grady Dick right now. Can he get over it as he gets older and plays and practices more? Will he stop falling apart? So that's the reason I think he's not in there right now. Is he's got the inability to perform under pressure. Now that's happened to me in the past too. The ladies can verify for that. Alright, anyways, Pascal Siakam. Yeah, can you imagine Pascal goes down? Then you got that opening at the power forward. Who's going to be your team's new power forward? Move on Anunoby right into his place? That's not such a bad team, right? Not to say if we traded Pascal, that's what we'd be looking at, right? That's really the deal, right? Like if we take Pascal out, who would we have to put back in? That's what kind of breaks down to, right? Can anyone else even be the next power forward backup? Or does that make more sense? Yeah. So if Pascal's gone, hopefully we don't trade him. Anunoby moves up to our new main power forward to run through the team through. That looks pretty sharp. Yeah, and big shout out to, what is this place called? Tier Maker. They make really good ways to move player icons around. I seen it on the Amateur Hour Sports. I was like, wow, I gotta try that. It's so hard to like move players around normally, to visualize what the teams look like. See, realistically what's gonna happen too is we're gonna get like 2 or even 3 starters out of the lineup at one point. Can you imagine? Siakam, Anunoby, and Schroeder all get injured for a point in the season. Then we're like, oh shit, now who's our starting 5? Then it'd be like, okay, Malachi Flynn? No, hopefully Freeman. Any one of these 3 could start, right? If that happened. Now it's like you have to have Thaddeus Young in there, and he's your backup powered forward. If that happened, you'd have to move Grady Dick in. Be like, alright, Dick, now's your chance. No puns. Yeah, so let's pray that that never happens. All 3 of these guys go down. Now, realistically, what happened was it last year? Who missed the most minutes? Was it Gary Trent? Wasn't he injured for a long time? And let's see, who else was bad injury prone? Oh yeah, Precious Achua and Otto Porter. Alright, now our team's like, we better have Anunoby. Better have Pascal Siakam. And Schroeder, hopefully he's not injury prone, right? So then you can move in Dick. So hypothetically, if all 4 of these injury prone players are sitting out, that's who we're left with on the team. That'd be our starters, and that'd be our bench mob. I don't know, like, if that really happened this year, not to say that that would, and I'd want to see that, but man, that's a solid core. And I don't mind that lineup at all. Not saying I want to get rid of these guys, but no, Precious Achua, definitely one of my favorite players still. So I really don't think Grady Dick is ready to replace Otto Porter Jr., especially if he's healthy. And let's pray Dennis Schroeder remains our starting point guard for as long as possible. People got this idea that Scotty's going to move in, but yeah, I don't really see that happening. Scotty's good and all, but he makes the finishing pass better. Someone's got to pass it to him, and then he passes it to someone else right away. Because he sees the opening. So he's like waiting to get the pass to make the pass. So he needs one of these guys to throw a lot of passes. And I think Schroeder can do it. Now I'm tempted, like the way I've seen Otto Porter play for Golden State, if he could work his way into the starting lineup, I think it's worth it. If he can somehow rejuvenate his career to what he used to play like a few seasons ago, as one of those breakout seasons, then you move him into your starting shooting guard. And people are like, oh, that could never happen. But I'm like, man, Otto Porter Jr. was really good, right? So if he can somehow get back to that point, holy, that'd be starter worthy. And who knows, maybe Gary Trent Jr., he'll be healthy all season. So we'll never even see that option, right? Like if Gary Trent stays healthy, then it's pretty much Scotty remains as the backup, the bench mob substitute. I miss the way, who was it? Was it Sam Mitchell? Whoever it was that used to take player substitutions where they took out the entire starting lineup. I was like, wow, that was a weird coaching style, but it was neat to see. Because you're like, wow, we really get to evaluate the other half of the team. That's the one shitty thing when there's always some starters on the team still, like on the floor. You never get to see the bench's full potential and how they can play together. Like they could really make their own second team. So instead of the Raptors just having a good starting five, they have two teams. Two that are fucking really good because they're used to playing with each other. Now I'm excited to see Dennis Schroeder. Like, if someone told me, like, at the end of last season that Fred would be gone and we would replace him with Schroeder, I'd be like, you gotta be kidding me. How the hell does Masai pull that off? And it's so weird that Fred just leaves, but we still managed to get Schroeder. We didn't have to trade Fred to get him. So I was like, wow, that was like kind of a miracle. Now I do wish, Fred VanVleet the best. There'll be a lot of pressure to see how he performs as a starting guard for a new team, right? Man, I know Lowry managed to handle it not so good in Miami, but when they moved him to the backup, he played amazing. So I think that's the potential Fred has. Or he might one day pull it off and actually be a good starting. Or consistent. Steady. Now, some people thought that I was on the Gary, or the Grady Dick train too, where I was hoping he'd be like our starting shooting guard. That's how good his preseason would go, or summer league. But yeah, I don't see that happening. Can you imagine if somehow he becomes like a 50% shooter and just starts draining everything? But yeah, that'd be amazing. Wouldn't that be funny if that's what happened? All of a sudden Grady Dick becomes like the next, Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. He just can't miss from three. Then all of a sudden we got like this deadly shooting guard that if we put out there just scores like crazy. Then I'd be like, I don't know. All these other guys that can't shoot threes, they wouldn't even need to take them. Schroeder could maybe take a few. You just have Gary Dick just draining threes like crazy. No, but I don't see that happening yet. Maybe if there's some sort of miracle, right? Now, does Thaddeus Young have the potential to rejuvenate his career? Can you imagine he somehow made it to starting? I'd like to see that because I like his style. If we had him as like a really aggressive shooting forward or small forward, that's what it is, small forward. And who knows, maybe one of these rookies or younger players, they'll perform so good with the Raptors 905 that I'll be going to get front row seats. That'd be good. That's what happens sometimes with the 905. They get like a team that's so entertaining that they're almost like more entertaining to watch than the actual Raptors. It's like pure offense. That was the one thing that pissed me off with Darko. I was hoping that Jerry Stackhouse would get the job. So if anyone's wondering why I'm so pissed that Darko got it, it's like, fuck, man. Jerry Stackhouse did so good with the 905. He basically started all of our players like Pascal Siakam and Fred and what's his name? Jakob. So he has so many connections to the team. Seemed like the perfect fit. And he had such a great NBA career. Oh well, no Jerry Stackhouse this year. I was thinking if Darko does terrible as a new coach, maybe that's what'll happen. Darko will lose his job and Jerry Stackhouse will be his replacement. I hope that's what happened. Masai's like, Jerry, we can't take you as the head coach now, but if anything goes sour, you're first on the list. Let's hope. Not to jinx Darko, but man, if Jerry Stackhouse could take over, I like offensive style game. Yeah, Liberty Freeman. Some people think that he has the potential to move into point guard, the main point guard, be the leader of the team. That would kind of be like the Kyrie Irving situation. When everyone doubted Kyrie when he was a rookie, but then he came in and he started performing really good, right? Or was it his sophomore season? Who knows? Yeah, and then some people are like, oh, can you imagine if Marquise Noel manages to pull off like some sort of like, who is the rookie that started for the Raptors? Damon Stoudemire or something? But anyways, yeah, he was shorter, and man, he just dominated. Like, didn't he win Rookie of the Year? So that might happen, eh? Can you imagine history repeats, and all of a sudden we get this amazing short point guard, and Schroeder ends up getting bumped to the bench, or who knows? Maybe he takes the role as like sixth man of the year, right? Can you imagine Schroeder as our ace off the bench, just comes in at the end of game quarters and to drain threes or make baskets in clutch time? Yeah, so I think I covered just about everyone getting injured and what would happen. Like, I think the real risky thing about this team the way it is now, what happens if both of these guys get injured? Now what's happening? Precious Achua and Thaddeus Young become our centers. Like, it's not uncommon for both centers to get injured, eh? Then you have to go into your depth. The guy from Summer League, I hope he would come in then, because, man, he was a good center. I haven't seen a center like him in Summer League for a while. So it's like, finally, we got a good Summer League player. He was huge, and he did everything right. Yeah, that'd be a crazy center situation, eh? You'd have to alternate between Thaddeus and... I'm pretty sure it'd be Precious Achua. He would be guaranteed the starting position if both of these guys got injured. Yeah, I wish Grady Dick the best. Imagine he finds the way. The rookie proves everyone wrong that the Summer League was just a fluke and he can actually hit the rim more. That'd be sweet. I hope so. No, the one thing that gets me was seeing shooters come to Toronto. I've been watching for 20 years, so I've seen a lot of good shooters come to Toronto and their shot just falling apart. So it's not like it's uncommon for it to happen. If anyone in the chat wants to put below, who's some of the shooters that came to our team? Jason Capono, he came back in the years. His shot fell apart. Who is that one really good rookie from New York that came over and he was in all the commercials and then his shot fell apart? Who else? Good shooters that we had. Jason Capono. Oh yeah, Anthony Parker, the EuroLeague MVP. When he came over and played, I guess he did shoot good for a couple seasons, but then his shot fell apart. Yeah, so we've had so many. Oh yeah, well, how can I forget the most recent ones? What was last year's 3-point shooter that we brought in? Everyone thought he was going to be the next Klay Thompson. Didn't work out. That's what a lot of teams are looking for. Everyone's looking for the next Klay Thompson, right? Yeah. So I'm wishing the Toronto Raptors luck. If I had to guess what kind of season we're going to have, I think it's going to be one of those rough, like 50-50 seasons where we win half of the games and lose half of the games. But when it comes down to the playoff crunch, we might actually build some chemistry by the end of it. Who knows? We might even dig ourselves a little hole at the beginning of the season and then have one of those monumental comebacks where we make the playoffs. That's what I figure might happen. It's kind of unpredictable to think that our team would somehow gel right off the bat. Like, I think what a lot of people think is going to happen is that Jakob Poeltl is going to be our starting center, and it's going to go well. Gary Trent's probably a lot of people's guess that's going to be the shooting guard to start. I think that it is most common that people think Dennis Schroeder's going to start. I don't know where a lot of these YouTubers get the idea that he wouldn't start. He's like one of the best point guards in the league. Why the hell would you get him on your team and then not start him? What the fuck? So yeah, I don't see that happening. Let's hope not. Uh-oh. Fuck. Where's that sound coming from? Where is it? Oh well. Well, hopefully that didn't trigger any copyright thing. That's the risk you run. Lucky I had some sound on so I could hear it pop up. Alright, so that's what we'll finish up with the Toronto Raptors predictions. What's going to happen. Praying that the starting five stays healthy. And if this is the starting five we go with, and Scotty doesn't come in, it's not that bad, eh? And when you think, too, if Koloko doesn't start, maybe his preseason goes really terrible, then yeah, Jakob Poeltl, I guess, will get the starting role by default. They did invest in him, did the big trade to get him back. So it does kind of make sense to use him as the center. I just don't think he's well suited for it. I think Christian Koloko's body type is just more endurance ready, bigger, stronger. I could be wrong if he's bigger or not. Someone wants to check that. Yeah, so thanks everyone from the Raptors organization, everyone that took these images. If anyone wants me to link the images in the chat, just let me know. Or if any of them don't want them used, just let me know too. I'll get them removed. I can always blur it out. I do that all the time with my girlfriend's in videos. Her boobs. Alright. So yeah, don't be checking my channel for those. Anyways. So, yeah, I wish the Toronto Raptors luck. And if anyone's wondering what jersey this is, it's one of the old school ones. I can't remember what year it came out, 2007 or something. It's Jose Calderon. Ooh, can't see it, but... So it is Toronto Raptors, and it's St. Patrick's Day for our good luck. So yeah, I wish the team good luck. Hopefully no serious injuries, no career-ending injuries. No incidents like we've seen on the news recently. Man, oh man. Can you imagine? Let's hope not. Alright, yeah, so wish everyone on the Raptors organization good health and good luck. And yeah, I think that's really the only thing that matters. Win or lose, as long as everyone stays healthy and we make it through another season, no major injuries, that's good news. And if we have fun watching it too. Get to hang out with friends and family at the game. I can't really afford many Raptors games, so who knows, maybe people see me at the station when I'm going through. I do travel vlogs and I walk through the station occasionally on my way to different locations, so I always swing by the Air Canada Centre and say hi. Yeah, it's a nice lobby. It's right part of the train. Alright, so let's wrap this up. If anyone wants to help out with my affiliate links, I appreciate it a lot. And at this point, if you want to check out before you watch these, it's okay with me. If anyone wants to help, I appreciate it too. See you later. Bye for now. Alright, my Patreon, got a link to that below. Thanks a million. Society 6 Finishing Quick is my specialty. It's a saying that comes on t-shirts and bed sheets, both popular with the ladies. Hideout TV, it'll pay you to watch videos. Swagbucks pays you to shop. GameKit to try games, and free Bitcoin. It's a wallet system for crypto. They give you tiny bits of crypto if you want to try it out. If you like it, you can keep using it and either deposit money into it or just keep collecting the free stuff and adding it to your balance. And yeah, if you keep checking the daily email, you get to spin a Wheel of Fortune game, and you get prizes for that too. And they're actually some really good ones. So I've even hit some decent prizes, not to brag, but so yeah, check it out. Make sure you follow your regional laws, including for the virtual made sex machine. It's for adults and men only. But if ladies need a sex machine, they know who to call. Just kidding. $10 off on $150 or more with the coupon code LYINGBS. That's LYNBSN. And no, it isn't total bullshit. It's actually a real code. And everyone who signed up for it, I appreciate it a million because there's decent kickbacks from that one. Anyways, Judson Weebly is my website. Appreciate it. Want to check it out too. I do wild stuff like vlogging and live streaming video games. Alright, let's wrap up the Raptors show. Yeah, let's hope the Raptors players are all on fire and they all have a great season. And yeah, I guess we'll go back to the main crowd screen. That's a good one. Let's go Raptors! Let's go Raptors! See you later. Bye for now. Later. Subscribe. Almost forgot. If you forgot, don't forget. Later.